Good afternoon, everybody. It is a bright, sunny day. It's starting to feel like summer
Hmm.
here in California. We're having some nice weather in Los Angeles today. Jeffrey Harris here. This is the Hollywood Purgatory podcast. We have Jay Snook on the other end of the line. Jay Snook of the Good Men Project. Hi, Jay. How are you?
Not too bad.
How are you feeling today? We're getting started. We're getting the Memorial Day weekend started off right. How's that sound?
Yep, absolutely.
All right. So since we've been gone for a little bit, we had a bit of a break, a short break, not a long break.
Yeah.
So we wanted to come back, hit the ground running today, and give our detailed reviews of the two new movies out. Well, one movie out this week, which is Solo: A Star Wars Story, and last week's Deadpool 2, the highly anticipated sequel.
Yep, you're
To
seeing it first. Two spoiler casts on
yeah.
one episode. We've never done this before.
No, I don't think we have done this before.
Nope,
We've
it's
done
always
like
been one spoiler cast, but never two.
Right, we've done like double movie reviews, but never like not like a full. Here's the deal, folks. When we do a spoiler cast, it's not like all about spoilers, but basically we're going to do a deep dive
Hmm.
and a full discussion of the movie, and that includes like the movie from start to finish,
Hmm.
and everything is at play because the movies are out now.
Hmm.
People are talking about them, and we are specifically warning you. So Jay, if you have not seen Deadpool 2 yet, if you have not seen Star Wars yet, what do we like to tell people?
Earmuffs. Cover your ears,
Earmuffs,
or put it on mute.
earmuffs to put it on mute, and then go out, see the movies, and then come back and then listen to the show, right?
Absolutely.
So and you'll get the best of both worlds.
But if you don't care about the movie, you just don't want to see them, then listen away.
All right, so Jay, first things first. I think I've seen you wear the Triforce pendant before.
Yep,
So you're obviously we are just a few weeks away from E3, so I know you're excited about that
absolutely.
and all the reveals in new Super Smash Brothers and all that. And it looks like you're wearing the Heath Ledger Joker shirt.
Actually, this is Jigsaw, actually.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
From the Saw franchise. See,
Yeah.
from the looking at it from the top, I thought it was Heath Ledger.
And that's an okay. I understand.
I was way off. I was way off. I'm not. You see, and that's because I've seen only a couple of the Saw films. I was never a big fan of them, but
Mhm.
whatever. So I guessed wrongly there. So
Frozen.
you've both seen Deadpool 2, so that'll be our first movie
And I
since
actually saw it a little bit before you, but not a huge amount.
right. So you got to see it early.
I
I got
did.
to see it early. Where did you see it?
I saw it, I believe, at the Greenback Theater, and it was actually a 1:30 screening, which was kind of weird. They've done. It's been a long since they've done that. I can't remember going to a screening that early unless it was a press screening, but this is a public screening. Now, all the press were there. It was the only screening they did in Sacramento, so it was that Thursday before the week it came out.
Okay.
And yeah, there was a pretty good turnout. I got lucky to get passes. The first time it filled up, the second time I happened to get one, which was really cool.
Right.
And I actually made sure to, I missed work for it, but a lot of people did.
Interesting. And the movie, it's at 82% at Rotten Tomatoes right now. So the
Mhm.
reviews aren't quite as good as the first one, but it's gotten good reviews overall from the
Yeah.
looks of things.
Hmm.
Um, so let's just go ahead and dive into Deadpool.
Hmm.
So Deadpool 2 continues, I guess, a little bit after the first film. We don't
Yeah.
really know how long, but Deadpool, he's still continuing his sort of
Uh-huh.
mercenary business as a hired gun.
Hmm.
It looks like he's taking out, some gangsters,
Lots and
some
lots of
thugs.
gangsters.
He's
Very
doing
violently, of course, but that's Deadpool for you.
right. That's Deadpool for you.
Mhm.
So it looks like he's trying to track down like one particular criminal at the
Mhm.
start of the movie, and he
Mhm.
hunts him down. He
Mhm.
escapes in a panic room. He goes back home to celebrate his anniversary with his girlfriend Vanessa from the
Mhm.
first film, Miranda Baccarin, who you might remember. She's played Leslie Tompkins on Gotham, right? And
Yeah.
also was in Firefly.
Yes, and
She's
Serenity. Yes.
right, right. And Serenity was the movie for Firefly, so it's
Mhm.
kind of
Mhm.
all encompassing there, Jay. So we pick up with them. They're still together, happy. And they're talking about having a kid, which Deadpool, or AKA Wade Wilson, he's a little nervous about. But like, he's like, okay, we'll have a kid and stuff. And then they're watching a movie at home, and the guy he was trying to take out, his thugs break into their apartment. And here's the big inciting incident for the film. Vanessa dies. So what a way to start the movie.
Well, didn't she die by getting the bullet goes through him and then hits her, right?
What I recall is he hit the gun. He hit the gun, and the way he hit the guy with the gun, it veered his aim, so it shot her instead of him, basically.
But I thought it went through him. Am I wrong?
No, I don't believe it went through him. But however it happened, Vanessa is dead. So this has honestly been one of the more controversial aspects, one of the more polarizing aspects of the film. So what did you think that they killed off Vanessa at the beginning of the movie?
I was actually kind of surprised. I didn't really see that happening. And it was kind of a bummer, but at the same time, it kind of had to happen because it helped the rest of the movie go where it went. So if it hadn't happened,
right,
he wouldn't have had a reason to do any of the stuff he did in the movie. So it was kind of a bummer, but also necessary.
The reason this is controversial, Jay, is because people consider, like, when you kill off like a love interest for the hero, to kind of move the plot line along or kind of develop the character, people call it a trope called fridging, basically, and they consider it bad storytelling, cheap, and sexist. What do you think about that?
I don't know if I would agree with any of those, just because, like I said, it wasn't forced, and it did. If it hadn't happened, why would he have been fighting? Why would he have been doing anything he did in the movie, right? So I think if it just wouldn't have made as much, even so I just wouldn't have seen it make much sense, because it put him in a place where he was like, all right, fine, he'll move forward from there. So it kind of was.
My feeling was they shouldn't have stayed together at the end of the first movie.
Why would you think that?
Because Deadpool is always sort of perpetually single, and he kind of doesn't really, like, he has flings and girlfriends, but he never stays attached for long. So the very idea of him having a kind of steady living girlfriend just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I thought I read somewhere online that in the comics he actually married a vampire bride and they stayed together.
He's married. He's probably married like 20 different people.
Well, I know there was at least that one. I saw that one, which is kind of interesting. And
he's not. I doubt. Yeah, he did marry someone. There was like a wedding issue of his comic, but I doubt they're even still together.
I think they actually still are. Last I read, which is interesting.
No, they aren't.
Maybe it's monogamous, but I don't know.
I mean, plus that character, I think he was married to. Okay, Shikla. She was formerly married to Deadpool, but has recently divorced him. Now she's married to Dracula. So
interesting.
So once again, Deadpool, he has lots of relationships. He's had flings throughout his history, but by the very nature of the character, he's not really like a character that settles down with a girlfriend. And it just seemed a little, I felt like there was nowhere they could go with that. But they killed her off. That was that. And then at the end of the opening, Deadpool blows himself up.
But remember, first we see where he has the music box where it's Logan through the trunk, which I thought was awesome. I love that.
Right. He did have a music box.
And it was great because, and doesn't he say, like, he's like, who caused this guy to do a random movie, and then he killed himself. The bastards killed him, or something like that.
Right, something like that. And then Deadpool said, "Well, I'm gonna up the ante, and I'm gonna kill myself like a dozen times." Or so I'm paraphrasing.
He says, "I die at the end of this movie too," is what he said, and he blows himself up there. Yeah.
He's got because Logan died in the Logan movie, or Wolverine. He has to match the critical acclaim of the Logan film. So and yeah, he had the music box reenacting the death scene for Logan at the end of that film. So there were a lot of in jokes about Logan in the movie. If you they even had the music.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that later. So he blows himself up, of course, because he's Deadpool. It doesn't kill him, and then we get our opening credit scene. Now, the first movie had a really fun, creative opening credit sequence. This one was basically a riff on the James Bond movie. You actually had Celine Dion did the song. It was called Ashes, and it was just sort of making fun of sort of James Bond style openings. And just like the first movie, they kind of play around with the credits during the opening credits. So at least, we rarely get. I don't know if you've noticed in movies you've seen lately, Jay, but we rarely get opening credit scenes, like an actual opening credits montage anymore. So I'm glad that Deadpool is still doing them. What did you like? How did you like the opening credit sequence for the film?
I really liked it a lot. And the funny thing is I'd heard that song before, but didn't click hey, that might be the opening credits. Just didn't click.
It was released online before they released the film.
Yeah, and I have to say it fit because especially where he was, it fit perfectly. It was the perfect, theme song.
It was also like really goofy because there were all these things. There were all these things in the credits, like, oh, holy crap! Did they really just kill him? And then there were like when they say directed by, it says directed by one of the two guys who killed John Wick's dog, because the director of the film is David. How's it pronounced? Leitch. Leitch. So the co-director of the first John Wick film.
Yeah, but I like that because that was in the vein of the first one. So it kept that vein going. Would have been weird if they hadn't done something like that, right? Yeah, so and they had to do something different from the first one.
It was
just as much.
It was a little different though. It was a little different though, because in the first movie, you had that sort of slow motion crawl through the kind of chaos of the highway battle. Whereas this was sort of this edited kind of like, it was a James Bond opening, but with Deadpool in it, kind of goofing.
And I think that the person I liked this opening better than the opening of the first one. The opening of the first one is good, but this one I liked a little bit better, to be honest.
Okay, cool. Did you like that Celine Dion did the music?
That was kind of cool, actually. I was kind of surprised. Like, that's kind of cool she did that. But like I said, the song fit where he was. The song fit perfectly.
Right. Have you seen the music video with Celine Dion and
Yes,
Deadpool?
I have.
Isn't that a good music video?
Yeah.
Remember what you said in the music video? Like, this thing only goes to 11, so beat it, Spider-Man.
Nice.
And then Deadpool's like, we need you to phone it in a little bit more. This is Deadpool, not Titanic. All right, so after the opening credits, Colossus of the X-Men from the first film, he's back. He finds Deadpool's remains and drags his remains to the X-Mansion, Xavier Institute. So they're back there at the Xavier Institute. Deadpool either grows either he regrows his body or they stitched him back together. Whatever.
Before that happened, wasn't there the scene where he was in the bar and he just kept getting drunk and he pees himself, or was that after this?
That was before he blew himself up, I think.
Yeah, because that happened where he was there and one of the guys says something really sweet. He goes, "Hey, horrible words to choose," or something like that. And Sanja is working there as a...
Not Sanja, it's Dopinder.
Dopinder, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He was working there, and he wanted to become a contract killer, but I think Deadpool's actually against it.
Yeah, but then Weasel, played by T.J. Miller, gives him a job working at that the bar for the contract killers.
Yeah, but it's not being a contract killer. It's like being like the bartender slash he
looked like a janitor to me, but
which he was. So when Deadpool pees himself, he has to freaking.
It's Karen Sony as Dopinder. I don't know why you think it was.
I don't know why.
Sanja, whatever. But moving on to after he's blown up and fixed by Colossus. Colossus is like, I want you to stay with us because we'll help you, and family like looks after another, whatever. So he's kind of recruited by the X-Men to be an X-Men trainee. and he's sent on his first mission with Colossus.
Now, before the first mission, there was
Yeah.
a really cool Easter egg here. This being a spoiler cast, I have to say
All right, yeah, go ahead.
is where he's saying, "Oh, there's no the X-Men here again." Then we see all the X-Men behind the door, and they close it.
Right.
And we see all of them. We see, like, Beast. We see, like,
Xavier was in there. Quicksilver was in
Magneto.
there.
All of them. It was great.
And I
loved that.
Not all of them were in there, but
there was a lot of them. I thought that was a wonderfully hilarious thing to do. I laughed a lot when I saw it.
So they were
just so awesome they did that.
So they basically cameoed the main X-Men from the Apocalypse movie.
Yeah.
At the same time, while Deadpool's complaining about where are all the other X-Men. It's always.
And I also laughed too where he was screwing his Cerebro and he breaks it. That was pretty funny too.
Right.
He's wearing the
so after they get sent out on his first mission with Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead,
who has a girlfriend now.
Who has a girlfriend now named Yukio.
Yeah.
The lines about that were kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
And Yukio and Deadpool had a funny relationship where they're like always like saying hi Yukio, you're delightful. That was all good. So on this first mission, it's sort of they're sent to this facility. I think it's called like the Essex House,
something like that.
Essex. Now Essex is a reference to the character. Have you heard of Mr. Sinister?
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
So Mr. Sinister, who's in it. And the reason it's a reference to Mr. Sinister, his real name is Nathaniel Essex. And the building they go to with Deadpool was called like the Essex House or something. So I don't know if they're seeding in like a Mr. Sinister thing with the X-Men films, but maybe they'll revisit that later on. So they're going after this kid in the film who's sort of broken out of the house and he's sort of causing mayhem. This is Julian Dennison, who plays. He's a mutant kid called Fire Fist.
Which there were some great jokes there.
This is, by the way, this actor. He was famously known for Hunt for the Wilder People, where he played Ricky. So that's where you've probably, if you've seen him in something, that's where you've probably seen him before. So he's causing trouble. He has these. He can like shoot fireballs with his fist, basically. And he's kind of wrecking the whole place. Deadpool tries to kind of talk this kid down, and he realizes that this kid was abused and mistreated by the so-called caretakers of this.
I think he had burns on his neck or something like that.
Yeah. Like he was clearly tortured. They were clearly doing some terrible thing. They were experimenting on him, probably. Deadpool was able to realize it. And he goes to shoot the people who are working there out of sort of not respect, but like, to kind of.
He shot one of the doctors, I think.
He shot one of them to kind of get retribution because this kid was abused. And then before he can do anything else, Colossus takes him down and stops him. And he's like, you betrayed me here. I mean, look, it's Deadpool. Colossus, what did you think Deadpool was going to do? He brought his guns with him on the mission. You didn't say, leave your guns on the ship or something, Not very smart on Colossus's part, Jay.
Yeah, truly.
To kind of trust.
It was a cool scene, and because if memory serves me, the kid couldn't fully control his powers yet either, right? Am I wrong?
It seemed like he could at the time. But basically, both the kids get arrested by these military authorities who hold mutants, and they're sent to a mutant prison. And I forget where it was. Like, it kind of, what did they call it? It
wasn't Bell Rev, but it reminded me of Bell Rev because they had the necklaces that neutralized their powers.
Well, but what did they call it? The ice box?
I want to say maybe.
It was sort of in like I don't know if it was in Alaska or just sort of.
It was somewhere out there, like
up north,
off the grid, almost. Is what
up north, and like in the frozen mountains. And Deadpool and Fire Fist but they both get those collars that depower them, so they're stuck in prison for a while.
And Deadpool, his cancer comes back because he's not neutralizing anymore.
Right, because he has a mutant healing factor that's able to neutralize his cancer. So with the collar on, it's basically slowly killing him. Basically, Fire Fist is now wanting to make friends with him, but Deadpool's like, I don't want anything to do with you. And Deadpool basically tells him, if you want to survive this place, make friends with like the biggest guy here or something. And we'll get to that later. Fast forward to the future. It's Josh Brolin as Cable. This is our big, exciting new character. Cable is in this film, played by Josh Brolin, who also played Thanos in Infinity War. No relation between Cable and Thanos, though, Jay. He's looking over the burnt corpses of his dead family. So he uses a watch, and he time travels back in time.
And he brought the bear with him, right? Before
he brought his daughter's teddy bear.
Yes.
That's also burned. And he travels back to the past where at the same time Deadpool and the kid are in prison. And basically, here's the basic gist of it. Cable is after the kid. He's after the kid named Fire Fist because he has to stop Fire Fist from doing something terrible in the future. So before he grows up and does that, he's going to kill him when he's a teenager now.
That's kind of what it is, but he is trying to stop him before. Because I guess
before he grows up and does something terrible.
But before that, they have where he because he like his first kill, he gets a taste for it, and that's why he does what he does in the future.
We're going to get to that more later.
Yeah.
Okay. But
and Deadpool's actually not really having it. Deadpool's not happy.
Before we get to that, I wanted to ask you. So the introduction of Cable, Josh Brolin is Cable. I was highly underwhelmed with Cable in this film. How about you?
I thought the arm looked pretty cool and the eye looked pretty cool, so I thought it was kind of nice.
I thought he looked cool and he sounded cool and all that, but the character just doesn't he's not much of a character to me. He's just sort of like Josh Brolin playing tough military badass dude.
Wasn't that kind of what Cable was?
I mean, there's a whole backstory for Cable they did not include in this film, and
maybe it'll be in his own solo movie. Who knows?
I mean, we don't. I mean, are they making? We don't even know if they're making that movie.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
I'm just saying, like when we meet T'Challa in Civil War, like we know who he is. Like he's the Prince of Wakanda. His dad, T'Chaka, is the King of Wakanda. And the Black Panther is his birthright, and because his father died, he became the Black Panther and all that. And he becomes the warrior king of. I mean, we don't get any of Cable's backstory at all, other than a couple bits here and there, and I was sort of underwhelmed with that. Is he even a mutant? Tell me that. Do they even say if he's a mutant in the film? No, they don't. The answer is no. What are his mutant powers?
Accuracy, really good with weapons.
Those aren't.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
I mean, those aren't his mutant. That's the thing. They don't tell us anything about Cable in this film. Literally nothing at all. True. Other than well, we'll get to that later. So Cable goes to the icebox with all the mutant prisoners. He's going there to kill Fire Fist. Excuse me. So big fight breaks out where Deadpool inexplicably ends up protecting Fire Fist from Cable. Gets into a big fight with Cable during this prison fight. It was a good action scene. There was good action throughout this movie.
And somewhere around there, Fire Fist met someone supposed to be really big behind the door.
After this scene. That's after this scene. But what did you think of the prison fight?
I thought it was pretty cool. I thought they did a good job with the fighting and all that stuff, and just it was a good action sequence as you can usually expect of these films, and a lot of violence. So that was really cool.
That scene ends with them basically getting thrown out of the prison. Deadpool's collar is disabled, and he's like thrown into like a lake. So he gets out. Cable gets thrown out, so he can't get to Fire Fist. And after that. That's when Fire Fist befriends another special prisoner in the icebox, who we will meet later. So
And
we'll put a pin on that.
all we know at that moment is just someone really big.
He's really big. He's a big dude. So
That's
we'll put a pin on that, and we'll go back to that later.
Of course.
So Deadpool gets out, so he's sort of been having these visions of Vanessa, and Vanessa's like spirit is telling him your heart's not in the right place.
Yeah.
So then Deadpool, after the fight with Cable, he has this epiphany where he believes for his heart to be in the right place, he has to protect Fire Fist from Cable.
And it wasn't just that, like, he thinks that too because there was like a wall and he couldn't get through it.
Right.
He couldn't actually go to her, which really annoyed him.
Deadpool believes in order to redeem himself for Vanessa, he has to save Fire Fist from Cable, and that way he can die and be with Vanessa, basically. So
yes, pretty much.
There's that. So Deadpool gets back home. He gets intel from Weasel that the prison is going to be moving the prisoners in an armored convoy. And so they're like, well, we have to protect Fire Fist from Cable in this convoy. So we have to form our own team. This is the big thing they've been teasing for this movie, is forming the X-Force.
Yeah.
So Weasel and Deadpool, they do a sort of an audition scene, and they get who did they get? They get Shatterstar, they get Zeitgeist, and do you know who played Zeitgeist? Bill Skarsgård from It.
Yeah.
He played Pennywise in It.
I'll be done.
Who else did they get? They had Zazie Beetz from Atlanta as Domino, and they also had the Vanisher. They also had the Vanisher and Peter.
Yeah, but who was Terry Crews? Because Terry Crews was.
Oh, he played. Terry Crews was Bedlam.
Yeah.
So how did you like when we getting to meet all of X-Force?
That was kind of cool. I liked it, and it was just Peter was just kind of a funny little gag there, but I thought it was kind of funny. He was like, "Oh, hey, what's up? I'm Peter. What do you have any powers?" Nope, just read the eyes. Like, all right, fine. And of course, we meet Domino, right? We get to see.
Yeah, we meet Domino, who is Zazie Beetz. They were teasing this a lot in the marketing for this film, and then Deadpool, he forms this new mutant team, X-Force, and they dive out of a plane to go to take on the convoy to protect Fire Fist. And then what happens, Jay? What happens to X-Force?
Yeah, this was kind of a scene that I thought was really underwhelming. It was funny, but it's kind of underwhelming, where most of them all die. Almost all of them die.
All of them die except for who?
Domino.
Domino, because her powers are luck-based powers.
Which was funny because he keeps thinking that's bullcrap. He's like, yeah, that's not a power.
And it's funny because in the comics, her superpower actually is she has probability altering powers. I don't know how it works, but they're comic books, okay? I don't know how I don't know how you would mutate to get mutant powers to alter probability to kind of make you lucky. I don't know how that will work, but Domino has them, and you want to know what else? Zazie Beetz was really cool in this film.
You know what I just figured out? It's kind of interesting, and you don't see it much.
What?
But we get to see, remember there's the Vanisher, too.
Right. So, basically, we'll get to that.
Okay.
So, the whole thing, they do this skydive jump where they're trying to attack the military convoy. Let's see. Bedlam, I want to say Bedlam hits a bus. Terry Crews hits a bus.
Yeah.
Shatterstar, Louis Tan, he flies into a helicopter blades, and he gets turned into like green blood.
And Zeitgeist got sucked into like the
wood chipper.
Tree shredder. Yeah, wood chipper.
Wood chipper. Peter lands safely, but then he goes to help Zeitgeist, and Zeitgeist starts vomiting acid on him and kills Peter. So the only one who survives the jump is Domino, because Domino is lucky and she has luck.
And we see Vanisher, but Vanisher gets zapped by the power line.
Right. Vanisher, who was another character. Vanisher is invisible, but we see Vanisher when he gets zapped by the power lines. And who was Vanisher but none other than
Brad Pitt? Yeah,
Brad Pitt in a 1 second blink and you'll miss a cameo as the Vanisher.
And what's crazy is I guess just read he was considered for Cable, but he couldn't do it. So he did the cameo in 2 hours during post-production for that, which is kind of cool.
Was he really going to be Cable?
Yes, they actually said he was offered the role, but he couldn't do it because of scheduling issues.
Huh.
Yep.
He would have. That would have been. I don't know. I don't think he would have made a very good Cable.
I'm not saying he would have, but he was considered. So real quick, since I just read this here, so who we did see in that X-Men brief appearance I talked about, just to go back for 1 second, James McAvoy was there. Nicholas Hoult was Beast. Evan Peters was there as Quicksilver. Ty Sheridan was Cyclops. They had Alexandra Shipp as Storm, and Cody Smith McPhee as Nightcrawler. So those were the ones that were thrown in there. So
I knew that.
Yeah, I'm just I'm just saying that.
Okay, so Domino survives the skydiving jump. It makes it safely.
Mm-hmm.
She gets to the convoy first, and then Cable like kidnapped Weasel earlier and knew they were going to hit the military convoy. And
it was kind of funny because Peter warned him there was like some kind of dangerous winds, and Deadpool's like, don't worry about that, we'll be fine. And then, well, that happens.
Yeah, Peter, but I think even Weasel mentioned it, but that was in the interrogation with Cable.
Yeah.
So, it was the winds that messed up their jumps and caused them all to die, as I recall.
Yeah. Except Domino, and I think even Deadpool. Did Deadpool get hurt, or was Deadpool fine?
Deadpool, I think, he might have gotten messed up, but he has healing powers, so he.
Yeah, but I thought he smashed like a bulletin board or something.
Yeah, I think or
a billboard, or something.
But I mean, he has the healing factor, so he can heal basically any wound. So they have the military convoy fight. Domino and Deadpool are fighting Cable in this fight, and then so then during this fight, Fire Fist is able to get free, and his friend. His really big friend, who he met in the prison because Deadpool wasn't around, he's able to bust out, and it's none other than the mother effing Juggernaut. Forget about the Juggernaut from X-Men 3. This is a new Juggernaut. So the Juggernaut is in this film. He was really the big surprise, I think, for the film.
And you know what's really cool was Ryan Reynolds' voice to match it. Did you know that?
I would have to see that to believe it.
Yep, he actually did. He did voice him.
I don't believe that.
It's true. Yeah, they lowered his voice, but he actually did voice Juggernaut.
Doesn't sound like him.
Yeah, that's because they lowered it, but he did voice him.
Really?
Yep, Ryan Reynolds.
It's on IMDb, but I need to see that to believe that's true.
Yeah, it says Ryan Reynolds voiced him.
I need to see video. Yeah, it's on IMDb. Anyone can use or submit on IMDb. I need to see actual footage.
Well, I'm also seeing on Wikipedia, and Wikipedia is actually usually much more.
If it's on Wikipedia, Jay, I believe it even less. I'm sorry.
It says he provided the voice for Juggernaut. Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't make it true though. I need to see proof.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Let's see. Like I knew that Benedict Cumberbatch apparently voiced Dormammu in Doctor Strange.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Let's see. Voice. Okay, it is Ryan Reynolds, so I will concede that point. Yeah. How did you like Juggernaut in this film and finding out he was in the movie?
It was really amazing, and I hate to say it, but I think I did see some jerkwad did post that Juggernaut might be in it, but still
there were leaks months beforehand that he was going to be in the movie.
I saw it before I saw it, but I didn't actually read the article or anything. But still seeing him, because when I heard like Juggernaut, I'm like, oh, it's going to be like, the Juggernaut from X-Men 3. No. This is like a steroid induced, like almost like
Juggernaut. In other words, it's a comic. It's a comic accurate version.
Yeah.
Of Juggernaut.
It's crazy how big he was, how powerful he was, how he really gave everybody a run for his money, because not even Colossus could take him that well.
And then after the whole convoy crashes, Deadpool, Juggernaut is with Fire Fist because they've decided to become partners.
Mm-hmm.
And Juggernaut picks up Deadpool and he says,
Oh,
"I'm
yeah.
gonna rip you in half now." And he
Yeah.
does just that.
Yeah.
And he rips Deadpool in two. Now this honestly, this was a lot like there was a scene in Ultimate Wolverine versus the Hulk where the Hulk, not Juggernaut though, the Hulk rips Wolverine in half just like this, except this was Juggernaut and Deadpool. I don't know if they were specifically in reference to that, but that's what it reminded me of.
Mm-hmm.
How did you like seeing Deadpool get ripped in half?
I thought it was pretty amazing, but again, it was like, hey, I could see Juggernaut doing that with how big he was. It's like, yeah.
So Juggernaut and Fire Fist escape. So here's the basic deal of it now. Is Juggernaut is going to help Fire Fist go back to the Essex house and kill all the staff there.
Mm-hmm.
Because Fire Fist wants revenge on them for what they did to him.
Especially the main doctor, who I think tortured him a lot.
Eddie, who's played by Eddie Marsan. I don't think they even gave that doctor a name.
I don't know if they did, but I know that in the facility, supposedly it was like they thought that he was an abomination, so they were torturing him.
They were like religious fanatics.
Yeah.
He's called he's only credited as the headmaster. So there you go.
Yeah.
So he's the headmaster of the Essex house. So Deadpool goes back to his old place with Blind Al.
Mm-hmm.
He's there with Domino and Weasel, and then Cable shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cable is like, "Truce, I need your help," and he gives everyone the backstory, a bit of a backstory, not his whole backstory. So he comes from the future. So in Cable's future, when Fire Fist becomes an adult, he goes to Cable's home and he burns his wife and daughter alive.
And he said, and this is where he said, from like they have to stop him from his first kills. He gets a taste for it after he does it.
And basically, it's this moment where he and Juggernaut go to kill everyone at the Essex house.
Mm-hmm.
That's the moment.
And specifically, I thought the headmaster. I thought the headmaster.
Yeah. Basically, him killing the headmaster gives him a taste for killing, and he grows up to kill Cable's parents. Basically, so that's what.
I thought it was his wife and daughter.
Parents. Okay. You want to know why? Because in the comics, Cable's parents are Jean Grey and Cyclops. That's why.
Interesting.
Yeah. So which they don't even mention in the film. So
no, they don't.
And then what was amusing about this scene is that Deadpool, he was waiting for his lower half to regrow, and they look like kind of like baby legs, basically.
Baby legs, baby butt cheeks. Then we see his front.
Yeah. I didn't care for that scene, but it was goofy.
I didn't really either, but I'm like, you know what? I'm sadly not that surprised. It's Ryan Reynolds. It's Deadpool.
I guess what confused me is that the scars did not extend to his lower half.
Yeah, that was a little odd, but
I didn't understand that, but because the healing factor caused his whole body to kind of like because of his cancer.
And so basically, in this scene, in a nutshell, they kind of have to form an alliance because they want to try to,
right. So Deadpool says, "I will help you. I will help you stop Fire Fist and the Juggernaut, but you have to give me a chance to save Fire Fist from becoming bloodthirsty and wanting to kill people, basically."
And he also says, what else does he say?
They make fun of him for being racist because he killed Black Tom.
True, but he says like something along the lines of like, you know, I don't want you to. I really don't want you to try to kill him or something if you can avoid it, and something like that.
Well, Cable reluctantly agrees to the plan. So now we have Deadpool and Cable teaming up. They do go back to the X-Mansion. Deadpool tries to beg Colossus for help, and Colossus is like, "Nah, I don't want to help you anymore." And then they leave anyway. So then they go back to the Essex house. Juggernaut and Fire Fist are there
Now,
because
time out. Did
yeah,
Negasonic and her girlfriend at least go with them?
not
I
yet.
thought
No,
not yet. Okay.
not yet. So, so the Essex house, we're back there. Cable, Deadpool, Domino were there to kind of, well, I mean, because there are also innocent children there, so they want to help them
Mm-hmm.
and not just save Fire Fist.
Mm-hmm.
So they're fighting with all the staff there, and then
Mm-hmm.
Juggernaut is in this fight, and then Colossus and Negasonic and her girlfriend Yukio do show up to help out. Colossus is like, all right, I'm gonna fight dirty Deadpool. He got Deadpool's friendship got the better of him.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a big fight between Colossus and Juggernaut.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that fight.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best parts of the movie. What did you
Mm-hmm.
think?
I thought it was kind of cool, and it's kind of funny how they all finally brought him down. You know, true Deadpool style, with the wire going up his butt and then getting kicked into the water.
Right, right. Kind of a team up. Negasonic didn't really get to do a whole lot in this movie, though, other than her getting a girlfriend. I was a
True,
little
but
let
it was
down
kind
with
of cool
that.
seeing her with the new hair. That was kind of cool.
I mean, I don't really care about her haircut. I'm talking about her actual character development. Haircut is not really character development. I want to see her get to like fight and do cool stuff. That's not really her getting a new haircut isn't all that exciting. But she and Yukio do help Colossus take down Juggernaut. They shove a wire up his butt and electrocute him. I don't think they killed him though. It looked like he was still.
No, he didn't get killed. He just got put down for now.
Right. So then, in the big confrontation, Deadpool.
First, he got burned really bad by Fire Fist, right?
Right, but then, but he basically saves Deadpool. Not saves Deadpool. Like they save Fire Fist, and
because he puts on the necklace, and he moves, and like Cable tries to shoot him, he moves in the way of the bullet, so he gets shot instead of Fire Fist.
Right. Right. So he gives it because he has the collar. He can no longer heal his wounds, and the collar it's locked, so it's difficult.
Yeah.
Difficult to unlock.
And that was kind of a funny scene because there was like what 1, 2 fake deaths, or like 2 or 3 times where we thought he was dead. So that was
they milked it. They milked it.
And
I believe in this scene it was playing the same music when Logan was dying at the end of Logan.
I think so.
Yeah, so they were clearly having a little bit of fun at Logan's expense and trying to, kind of trying to joke about Ryan Reynolds trying to, I guess, one up Hugh Jackman.
But it was really a good scene though, because it really did actually turn Fire Fist around. I thought it was
it did turn Fire Fist around, and Cable was able to realize it because he had the bear, and the bear no longer had like the ash on it from when his wife and child died. So
and
basically,
was this the part where he said he kind of had his own F word now? Is that where Deadpool said that?
I don't know about that. I don't remember that line. But basically, Deadpool's able to save Fire Fist because the shock of seeing Deadpool protect him and save his life and dying to protect him kind of that's what turned him around basically. So so then in Cable is so moved by Deadpool's sacrifice.
But time out though. Before that sacrifice, don't we see Wade finally go to Vanessa?
Yeah. He does go to Vanessa like earlier, and he's able to go through the wall.
Yeah, so he's acting normal now.
It makes him look like his old self before he became a mutant.
Yeah.
And he's with Vanessa, but Vanessa's like, it's not your time now.
Yeah, she says go live with your F word. That's where you need to go do.
No. Deadpool was saying earlier that family is kind of like an F word, basically.
Yeah. And that's where she says, I remember. Like your F word needs you. He's like, you're right, because they all kind of became this, unofficial family.
Dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Weird kind of family.
Yeah.
So but then Cable is so moved by Deadpool's sacrifice that he uses his time traveling watch.
His last one, by the way.
So this was his last charge to travel through time. to go right before they go to the Essex house. He puts a little token in his costume, and the token
Actually,
blocks.
It was the token that
It was
he
a
gave
skee
Deadpool.
ball token from their first date, from Vanessa,
from
and
Vanessa
Wade's
his first date. Yeah.
Yeah, their first date. So, because he took it earlier from him when they were in the prison, basically, and he had it on him. So when he shoots Deadpool this time, they redo everything, but he shoots him this time. It hits the token, and so everything is fixed except Deadpool is alive now. Deadpool is able to survive the incident, and he goes away now. Now he kind of has a new team. And Cable decides to stay with them for now. So it looks like Cable will. I guess he'll stay with the X-Men or the X-Force with Deadpool and Domino or something. We'll see. And did you see off to the side? It looked like Juggernaut was getting out of the pool. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
It looked like while the group was leaving with Fire Fist and all that, it looked like I could see the pool where Juggernaut. It looked like Juggernaut was rising out of the pool and looked like he was still alive, I think.
It wouldn't surprise me if he was.
Okay, that's I don't know if he was just floating in there, but I think he might have been getting out. I'm not 100%.
Maybe.
So then we get this movie has been getting so much buzz for the post-credit scenes.
Yeah, which was hilarious.
So a lot of humor in the post-credit scene. So
yeah, let me tell them.
So just to hold on. So just to set it up, Negasonic and Yukio fix Cable's time traveling watch and give it to Deadpool.
Yeah, and then Yukio says that might have been a bad idea.
Right. And then Negasonic, I think, was like, "What have we unleashed?" Something like that. And
it's great because what is all the stuff he does? He goes back to X-Men Origins Wolverine.
That's not the first one. He goes back to the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah, where he kills the guy before he can kill Vanessa.
So Vanessa is apparently not dead anymore.
Yeah, and he says we're gonna name our first kid something like Cher or something like that. And yeah, and then he goes. And then was the second one where he goes.
The second was X-Men Origins,
where he shoots his weird Deadpool self and goes, "Hey, what's up? How's it going? Just nothing to see here."
He said correcting the timelines or something, cleaning up the timelines, I think.
Yeah, and then there was the one where he shoots
Ryan Reynolds
in the head right before he can do Green Lantern.
Yeah. I'm sure Ryan Reynolds wishes he could have done that in real life, don't you think?
It was absolutely hilarious.
That was hilarious.
Was there another one, or were those only one?
I think it was three. I want to say it was those three. I don't think we saw. Unless they added another one in, I don't remember any others.
Yeah, but those were all absolutely hilarious. I think I was laughing the most during those because they were so hilarious.
I think those were the best part of the movie. What about you?
Yeah, I thought they were it was so funny and unexpected, and it was great to see him do it because I could see Deadpool doing that in a heartbeat.
So Jay, overall thoughts, feelings on Deadpool 2?
Overall, it was a good sequel. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it was kind of hard to be better than the first one. But for a sequel, I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was, it was raunchy. It was violent. It had, the humor that I expect from this movie, the characters I expect from this movie. There were some parts I thought were weaker than I expected. But overall, I enjoyed it.
What was weaker for you?
Like I said, that part where the X-Force was they came on the know, got killed, that was kind of a bummer.
Wasn't that kind of like, what that reminded me of? Have you ever seen MacGruber?
Yes.
Remember the scene where MacGruber assembles his old team and then he blows them all up?
Yeah.
That's what this reminded me of.
Yeah, so that was kind of a weaker scene than I expected to be. But
you didn't watch. So are you upset that they killed all the X-Force people?
Yeah. They all pretty much died when we just got them. It's like, wait, that's it? I was looking forward to seeing Terry Crews more and some more, and they all died.
Okay, now I'm remember. Oh, there was a fourth post-credit scene. He saves Peter.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You're right.
He doesn't
He's like, Peter, just go away. Just get out of here.
I'm sorry. All right. So basically, since we're talking about that, so in the one other scene, he goes back to that scene where all the X-Force guys got killed, and he doesn't save anyone else. He just saves Peter.
Yeah, he's like, Peter, go away. Just yeah, you'll be okay. Yeah, so I thought there was one more, but that was kind of.
And Peter said, "Yeah, well, that was pretty scary," and Peter just walks off. So
Yeah,
Peter is still alive now.
yeah.
He
So he
went
did
back in
save
time to save
Peter.
Peter.
And overall, I'd give this movie probably an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it, but
Yeah.
it just wasn't as good as the first. The first
I
one was
think-
better. But like I said, for a sequel, it was pretty good.
I think as a sequel, it was fine. Like, it wasn't a bad sequel. But the first movie's... Yeah.
I will say this, though.
Yeah.
I knew that Deadpool. It was a little predictable, like where like oh, Deadpool's dead. I'm like, yeah, no, he's not. And this is because I saw the Phase 4, and they're doing a movie called Thunderbolts where it had the Deadpool symbol. So I knew Deadpool was still going to be alive.
I don't think Deadpool's going to be in Thunderbolts.
It has
unless
the Deadpool symbol on
they
it.
have to finish. For him to be in Thunderbolts, they'd have to finish the Disney Fox deal first.
Yeah.
What are you talking? What's this what's this Thunderbolts Deadpool thing?
Well, I saw that in Phase 4 they showed all the movies, and one was Thunderbolts and had the Deadpool symbol in the middle.
No. Where was this?
Let me look at this real quick, because I swear I saw like the Marvel Phase 4, and I saw it.
I think yeah, none of that's official, Jay, because Disney has not bought 20th Century Fox yet. So they can't work with any of those characters until the acquisition is finished. So you're mistaken.
Let me see here.
I mean, they could do Thunderbolts in Phase 4, but
I thought I saw they were doing it in Phase 4. At least is what I saw.
They might, but we don't know. We don't know any of the films for Phase 4 yet, Jay. It's just wishful thinking. It's just speculation.
I could have sworn that they actually did release the official
Jay,
list.
I need you to. Here's what you got to filter a little bit more of what you're reading online, because a lot of it's fake junk. Okay, a lot of it's clickbait and a lot of it's fake. So there's no evidence. There's no evidence that they're doing Thunderbolts. Marvel cannot touch Deadpool until they finish the acquisition, and even then, when they finish the acquisition, we might not see anything done for a while. Ryan Reynolds did talk about doing an X-Force movie next with Deadpool. I think that's what they're talking about. Yeah, there's no Thunderbolts movie happening right now. It could happen. We don't know when, and it probably wouldn't have Deadpool unless they are able to finish the deal and work out a deal to put Deadpool in it.
Oh, time out. I'm just because I remember like I've seen for the previous phases though, they've shown this like a little like poster of like all the movies.
Yeah, but they haven't done that. They haven't done that yet for Phase 4. They've only done it through Phase.
Yeah, they did. I see it right here.
Huh? That's for Phase 3.
No, they say Black Panther, Secret Empire, Spider-Man Dimensions.
No, none of that's official.
Okay. They do
Secret Empire.
They do show Warlock. They show Avengers X. That was where we saw the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Show me where that is, Jay. Where did you find that?
Comicbook.com.
That's not real. That's not a real thing.
But you said they were doing Warlock. You said they were doing Warlock, right?
And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Volume 3, yes.
It's not Warlock the movie. It's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh, well, they're saying
Comicbook.com. It wasn't real.
I just thought I'd seen this for Phase 1 and 2, and it looked like it was real because it looked like it seemed the same as Phase 1 and 2, I thought.
Tell me the name of the actual story.
The name of the actual story, because there's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Just give me the headline, and I'll expose this whole... I'm going to blow the lid off this whole thing.
This Marvel Phase 4 movies slate is what fan dreams are made of, which that sounds like that's like their actual official slate, isn't it?
No, it's not. All right.
Is that not official?
Here, I'm going to read this. Here's this actual article. While we don't know anything about what Phase 4 of the MCU, it's clear from the chart above via Reddit and so many others like it that fans already have a major set of wish list picks for which films they want to see. Wish list, Jay. Come on here.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Come on, what does that mean?
Okay, I get it.
It's a wish list of films. It's not a real chart, okay? This is not a real this is all fan made. It's all fan made. So let's see.
But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 we know already is happening, right?
Yeah, we know there's going to be of course there's going to be another Spider-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume
Another
3,
Doctor Strange.
and probably a fifth Avengers movie somewhere. Yeah.
And another Black Panther, we know that.
And Captain Marvel. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is totally fan made. And let's look at the Reddit thing. Dude, it's just a it's a fan made image, Jay. It's not a real image. Here's Jay. When you look at this, you gotta read the fine print, you know? Haven't your parents ever told you read the fine print, Jay?
Yes.
That's what this is. You can't just because you see it doesn't make it real, because all these websites are just reporting stuff and you have to kind of just filter it a little bit. All this is it's a fan generated wish list of movies fans are hoping to see.
Okay.
Now, is it possible some of these movies get made in Phase 4? Yeah, it's very possible. Like maybe a Nova movie.
And a standalone Warlock wouldn't be crazy eventually, right?
Warlock, I doubt it, but we'll see. Doctor Strange, yeah, but none of these are have been officially announced. This is just fans kind of just thinking about movies we want to see in Phase 4, and all these logos are fan created. None of these logos are real logos. So the reason they put the Deadpool logo in Thunderbolts is because Deadpool was on the Thunderbolts some years back.
Okay.
So fans are just theorizing. It's not a real thing. Marvel has not announced anything yet. You'll know it's real when it comes from Marvel and they announce the slate for Phase 4.
Which will probably happen at Comic-Con, right?
Maybe at Comic-Con or maybe later. It depends. But the only films we know about right now, for sure, are I believe the sequel to Spider-Man: Homecoming. Let me see. All right, Phase 4.
Okay.
So Spider-Man 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and Black Widow. But even Black Widow hasn't even been announced yet, so we're not sure.
I know I haven't. I just know that I think they have said they do plan on probably doing it, because I know that Chadwick Boseman just signed on for like a 4 or 5 Marvel deal, so at least one more Black Panther isn't nuts.
Right. Well, right. We'll get a sequel to Black Panther. We'll get a sequel to Doctor Strange and a sequel to Captain Marvel. So all those make sense.
Yeah.
But we don't know it. Beyond that, Spider-Man 2, Guardians 3, and Black Widow, which they say they're doing, we don't know anything else.
Yeah, okay.
That's it. So that was a bit of a tangent there.
Yeah, true.
So
but those can be fun on here. Tangents are fun.
We'll see. So Ryan Reynolds did talk about coming back for an X-Force movie instead of a Deadpool 3. Okay. However, let me see this. I wanted to just kind of look at the numbers. The sequel's doing pretty well right now. I mean, it got good. It got fairly good reviews. It's made over 164 million.
It's made its budget back, which is good.
Worldwide. It's made its budget back. And it's gonna have it's probably gonna do good this weekend, even with Star Wars coming out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Deadpool. I mean, Deadpool is so popular; they're gonna keep doing stuff with Deadpool. No question.
Absolutely. I agree.
Unfortunately, there won't be an animated series on FX. Which
that was going to happen. That didn't get picked up, right?
Yeah, Donald Glover was working on that show. So tying into that for our next film. Now it's time for our spoiler cast for Solo: A Star Wars Story. So deep dive.
Actually, 1 second before you do that, what would you give Deadpool 2?
What would I gave Deadpool 2? I'll say 7.5 out of 10.
Okay, and I gave 8 out of 10. Okay.
I think I'm pretty fair. I like Deadpool 2. It was not, I thought the first, like you, I thought the first film was better. I thought a little tighter, a little more focused, and a little funnier, honestly. I think I think the post-credit scenes were really funny. Some of the jokes here didn't land as much, but I really like seeing Juggernaut because this was a faithful version of Juggernaut, faithful to the comics. He had the attitude, he had the look, he was huge. So I hope it's not the last we've seen of Juggernaut. So
yeah, okay.
Overall, I like the movie, and I like Ryan Reynolds as this character. I think he's perfect for this character.
Absolutely, I agree. So now we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, I hope he gets to keep playing this character. All right, so now, spoiler talk and discussion for Solo: A Star Wars Story. Earmuff time. If you don't want to get spoilers, or mute it, and then go watch the movie and come back and listen. Or if you've already seen the movie, then you're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So when and where did you see Solo: A Star Wars Story, Jay?
I actually saw it on Tuesday, and I think it was again at Greenback, actually.
I saw it Monday at the ArcLight Theater in Hollywood. This was a bit weird because every modern Star Wars movie before was screened at Disney. This is the first one that was screened at ArcLight. This one didn't come out in December. I don't know if that had anything to do with it because Rogue One, Force Awakens, and Last Jedi all came out in December. But this one was screened at ArcLight instead. So this movie had a very troubled production period. The original directors were Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Ultimately, they were replaced midway through by Ron Howard, who became the new director. This was written by Jonathan Kasdan and Lawrence Kasdan. Lawrence Kasdan, he is also the writer of Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, co-wrote The Force Awakens with J.J. Abrams, and he also wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark. So Lawrence Kasdan is a pretty long history with Lucasfilm, Star Wars, and characters played by Harrison Ford, basically. So. Wouldn't you say Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of the best movies ever made, Jay?
I liked it, but I actually like Last Crusade better.
Okay, forget about you.
Hey, I like it though.
I'm banning your movie going privileges, Jay.
Oh, whatever.
You can't go to the movies anymore.
Yeah, I like Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I like The Last Crusade better.
Whatever.
Because Sean Connery and Harrison Ford are just hilarious together.
Are you drunk?
No, I'm not drunk.
All right. I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm giving you a hard time. All right. So, Solo: A Star Wars Story. This is the latest. So this is the latest standalone anthology Star Wars movie. It is not a saga film. So they start the movie with a long time ago, Galaxy and Far, Far Away. But instead of the big text crawl, they just have a few lines of text. And they take us to Corellia, the home planet of Han Solo. This is the first time we ever saw Corellia really in anything. Corellia has always been established as the home planet of Han Solo. So we meet Han. He's driving through the streets of Corellia and sort of a speeder, like a really fast speeder. He's got the dice, which you've seen in the previous films, on the rear view mirror, right above the windshield. So we're introduced right off the bat to Alden Ehrenreich. You might have seen him in the film Hail Caesar. Good movie. I recommend it.
Oh yeah.
He's just Han at this point. When we meet him, he's just Han. He's not Han Solo. He's stolen the speeder. So basically, it's set up where he and his girlfriend Kira, played by Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones, they're
dragons.
Right, the mother, right, Daenerys Targaryen.
Yes.
They are in service to this this crime boss called Lady Proxima. This worm creature on Corellia.
Type almost, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're called scrum rats, is what they're called.
Like that. Yeah, that's what they called all them. Yes.
What did you think of our introduction to young Han?
It was kind of cool, and you know what? I have to say, I liked the dialogue because it gave you a backstory of where the movie is going to take place. So I really enjoyed it because it gave me more context. Okay, what am I to expect? And yeah, like, where it seemed like there were a lot of orphans on that planet, which Han and Kira happened to be, and they said that there were a lot of people besides just this lady Proxima who took them in, but they had to like bring him stuff.
Right.
Like
Basically, they're in the time of the Empire. There are all these crime lords, and they take in the orphans and they force them to work. They put them to work, basically, to work.
It kind of reminded me actually of Force Awakens, where
with Rey and Unkar Plutt, kind of.
because it was similar, like because like one of the kids says, "Hey, if I give her this, I'll get like an extra portion," and she was kind of
but instead of just like salvaging instead of like just salvaging parts, they're like committing crimes for them, basically.
True, but it was similar where like they're doing it because they have to survive. Like they're
doing it to survive. But it's the best they can do. It's what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Oliver Twist, kind of.
Yeah, I could actually see that. Yeah,
kind of Oliver Twist is kind of what that
a darker version of it, but sure,
darker version. It's science and kind of science fiction-y, alien fantasy kind of.
Yeah, and I think they're both trying to get away, and they're stopped from doing it.
Yeah, so basically, Han was supposed to get money by trading this hyperdrive fuel called I think they called it coaxium. I want to say.
I think yes, I think you're right. I believe
it was called, but basically
it was highly valuable too. That's why
very valuable. He kept it, and he and Kira want to use it to escape Lady Proxima and get off Corellia and just live. Because like they're basically slaves, so they want to like escape to freedom, basically. So Lady Proxima tries to punish Han, I guess, for the deal going bad, and he smashes a window with a rocks. And Proxima is like this giant worm creature, and
I'd still say more centipede than worm. She's got all the arms. She's got the giant teeth.
There's a name for her species.
Yeah.
It calls her okay, well, this is straight from the website. The fearsome Grindelid matriarch of the white worms. So they're called the white worms.
Okay, she just reminded me of a giant centipede.
Okay, well, I mean, she's kind of like an alien hybrid centipede worm creature.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But they're called the white worms, all right?
And I guess that's why the sun hurt her, because because
they're sensitive to light.
Yeah.
So they're able to get out of the base, and they take the stolen speeder and they go to the space station, which is controlled by the Empire. Because this is the time of Emperor Palpatine and all that. The Empire is fully in control right now. They try to bribe their way through the checkpoint
with a hyperfuel.
They have the hyperfuel that Han stole. Han is able to get through the checkpoint. Kira is taken captive by Lady Proxima's minions. Kira's like, Han, you have to run, to get away. And one interesting thing is that Kira kept the dice from the Millennium Falcon we saw in the last few movies.
Yeah.
She still had it when they're separated. Han, believing it's the only way he can get out alive, he enlists in the Imperial Academy. So he enlists in the. So this I thought was one of the more interesting parts, because in Star Wars Legends, before they started making new movies, Han's backstory did have him as an Imperial Academy cadet. So I kind of like that they brought that back into the lore, so to speak. So how did you like that we meet Han again, and at the end of the not the end, but at the very beginning of the movie, he basically enlists in the Imperial military to escape Corellia?
I liked it. I thought it was funny. There was a good joke there where he's like, "Yeah, I want to be a pilot." Like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, you'll be flying in no time." 3 years later, he's freaking doing like infantry.
He's stuck doing infantry on
hating every minute of it.
Yeah, they're in like the mudlands of a planet called Mimban.
Yeah.
All Han wants to do is get off that world. He wants to get his ship and he wants to go back to Corellia so he can save Kira.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all he wants to do is save Kira and see the galaxy with her. That's like their dream. Just live on their own and live for themselves. While he's there, he comes upon a gang of outlaws who are in disguise as Imperial troopers. He meets Tobias Beckett, his girlfriend Val, and Rhea Durant.
And Woody Harrelson just does Beckett wonderful. I think he's
Woody
great.
Harrelson is Beckett. Tandy Newton from Westworld is Val. And do you know who was Rhea?
Off the top of my head, no, I don't.
It was Jon Favreau.
Yeah. Oh, really nice.
Well, he was the voice. He was the voice of Rio.
That's cool. Nice.
All right. So basically, yeah, Woody Harrelson was he was I think one of the better parts of the movie.
I do too. I agree. He was great.
So they meet this trio. Han realizes that they're outlaws on a heist, and basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to steal like a cargo ship from the Empire to use it for another job. Han tries to get in on it, and Woody Harrelson or Beckett, he's like, this kid's a deserter. Don't listen to a thing he says. And he gets thrown into a pit with a beast. And this is our first meeting of none other than
Chewbacca. Yeah. And what I really liked about this meeting was where first they call him the beast, and you think, oh God, it's going to be some. I actually thought that it might have been that giant creature from Return of the Jedi at first. That's what I thought it was.
The Rancor.
That's what I thought it was at first. Like, oh my God, is that what we're going to see, a giant Rancor? Because like it looked like a Rancor pit to me at first.
It's kind of small to be a Rancor pit, but
well, I know that now. But the time I thought, hey, it could have been, and then we see this like furry thing covered in mud, and
it's Chewbacca.
And I love where Han Solo can actually voice some.
He can speak the Wookiee language.
Some Wookiee, and wasn't it also a little bit before that we saw where how he got his name Han Solo?
When he was enlisting in the military.
Yeah.
The recruiting officer's like, so what's your name? What are your people? He's like, I don't have any. And he's like, I'll call you Han Solo because you're alone.
Yeah, so
that's how he gets. So if you ever wanted to know why he's called Han Solo, an Imperial recruiter named him Han Solo. Yeah. I did not like that.
And actually, I loved how they first met because I remember to go. He says in Wookiee, "You dumb Wookiee, listen to me," and like, and it's just great because they help each other pretty much escape from there in just this funny manner. They make it look like he's getting killed by the Wookiee, which I thought was wonderful.
Right. Right. It sounded like Steve Bloom from Rebels was voicing one of the troopers in that scene.
You're probably right. That wouldn't surprise me.
Because Stephen Bloom would often do he voiced Zeb on Rebels, and he'd also voiced some of the troopers as well. So one of them definitely sounded like Stephen Bloom. You've heard of him, right?
Yeah, of course. I know who he is, and and I've actually met him once or twice.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I thought it was really cool because
the fight was funny.
Well, it wasn't just that. You could see like their relationship kind of just starting even there, like in a humorous like fashion. You could just tell that even though they're like, hey, I just want to get out of here right now.
Right.
You tell that they're like there was already going to be like kind of a good relationship there. So it's kind of cool.
So they're able to get out of the pit, and they run away, and they get to the ship with
Beckett and his men.
Beckett and his crew. And Rio kind of convinces Beckett, yeah, let's take him along with us. So Beckett
and Han Solo caught on there was something wrong with the one guy because you saw him grab it's like his pants.
He saw it. Well, he saw he wasn't a real Imperial trooper because he saw his extra arms and all that. So they escaped. So basically, they were there on Mimban to steal that giant cargo hauler because they need it for their job, and then they go to another planet. Because they're going to steal some of that fuel. Basically, that fuel we saw at the beginning of the movie is basically the MacGuffin of the film.
And they're going to steal a huge amount of it.
So Beckett and his crew want to steal a huge amount of this hyperdrive fuel from a train convoy. So they take Han into their crew along with Chewbacca to help him out. Val isn't into it, but like Beckett's like, we're shorthanded and we need like the extra hands. And then Val's warning him about Enfys Nest catching him.
But he also said, Beckett said, hey, we need some extra muscle. And the Wookiee will be perfect for that. So,
right. Cool. So Han talks about wanting to go back to Corellia to find a girl. referring to Kira.
And I think they're all shocked. Like, I don't know anyone who actually wants to go back to that place, and he says why.
Right.
So, cool.
Chewbacca, his whole the Wookiees have been enslaved by the Empire, and he wants money to, I guess, free his people or his family. This is consistent with if you've ever read the Aftermath trilogy. It's a book trilogy by Chuck Wendig that takes place after Return of the Jedi. And this is the story of Chewbacca and Han liberating the Wookiees and Chewbacca's family. That's in these books. If you ever want to hear more about that.
And there's a part where he says, did he say tribe or family? And one of them says, what's the difference?
Well, Han was trying to translate Chewbacca's language, and he said tribe or family. And like, I think Beckett asked which one, and he's like, what's the difference? So. So they're on the job on this frozen ice wasteland to kind of steal the hyperdrive fuel, and it's going well until their heist is attacked by Emphas Nest. So there are these group of marauders called the Cloud Riders. They're flying in on these flying bikes, basically, and they're trying to steal the fuel too. They go aboard the cargo ship that Rio is flying. They kill Rio. Then Han has to go into the cargo ship to help out. They're fighting troopers on this train. They're fighting the Marauders. Val, here's what I didn't like. Like, they killed Val and Rio way too early, I think. They should not have killed them that early. Am I wrong there or what?
Well, I know that Rio, they didn't kill superbly quick, but you kind of could tell he's trying to fight on, but he knew he couldn't forever.
But they shouldn't have killed those characters that early in the movie.
Well, I think that with Rio, I mean, Val kind of at least went valiantly. I thought I kind of liked a bit more.
But valiant, I can't. Like, they set her up that she is Beckett's girlfriend, so we know that. But I wasn't even upset when she died, really, because we hardly even got to know. She was only on screen for like 10 minutes before they killed her. To me, that's not good. That's not really good writing, I think. Am I being unfair, Jay?
I think a little bit, because I thought it was good writing. I thought it made sense.
I don't think they should have killed that. I think they should have kept those characters around for a little bit at least. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me.
It would have been nice to keep them around longer, but in a way, to me, I think kind of.
I just can't buy that like Val, who's a hustler and a thief. I can't buy that she would sacrifice herself for Beckett unless she really loved him. But
I think she really did. It's hard to say if he really did, but I think she really did.
I mean, I would have needed to see more to really believe that she would have done that. Because to me, like, I can buy that in Rogue One because they're in a very desperate fight to steal plans for a planet-destroying weapon. This is like kind of like, I mean, like, I feel like she died for nothing. I didn't like it. Plus, Tandy Newton is I mean, don't you think she's a good actress?
Oh yeah, I agree. I think she is. Yes.
I think that's a waste of a really good performer. You know, that's a waste.
I think it made sense in the story.
It didn't make it to me. It didn't make sense, but. So basically this whole the heist, you know, it goes upside down. Rio dies, Val dies.
And it goes upside down because of Han, I thought.
No, it wasn't Han's fault.
I thought he let it go.
It was Beckett's fault. It was Beckett's fault because Beckett's like, we got to worry about Emphas Nest. He's like, Emphas Nest is not going to show up. She doesn't know about this.
And that's not what I mean. I mean, like, they had the thing hanging there. And didn't Han let it go? He dropped
Han let it go to save their lives. If he didn't let it go, they would have all blown up.
But Beckett blamed him for that, didn't he?
Beckett blamed him because he thought the Marauders were going to let the cargo hold go. They didn't. And had Han not done that, they all would have died. So it was really all Beckett's fault for not anticipating Emphas Nest. Basically, it was his fault. Han look, Rio was the pilot. Rio got killed. Han had to take over for him. So how is that Han's fault?
I'm not saying it's Han's fault. I'm saying Beckett saw it as Han's fault.
I mean, I think Beckett knew it was really his fault. He was just trying. He was blaming Han because he was angry. He
Oh,
was
and I
angry at
agree.
himself.
I agree, but he was blaming Han for it. He said, "Damn it, Han, it's all your fault." Then we find
Yeah,
out why a bit later.
but he knew it wasn't really Han's fault. He was just he was lashing out because his friends just died.
Well, it wasn't just that. There's another reason we'll get to in a
All right,
second.
we're going in circles here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on from that. So they get picked up by Beckett's boss, who is Dryden Voss, played by Paul Bettany. You may recognize Paul Bettany as Vision from the Avengers films and the Marvel films. So he's back playing a bad guy in this movie. He's basically a gangster working for a crime syndicate. They're called the Crimson Dawn. And they go on his fancy yacht to kind of report that the job went badly and they need another chance, basically, because if they try to run away, then the Crimson Dawn will come after them and put a price on their heads.
Well, I believe actually what I think when he heard it went south, he just wanted to kill all three of them right then and there. Pretty much, like, you know what?
Yeah, but we're just kind of we're getting into that. So
before that, they get to the place before they meet the
Dryden Voss.
Before they meet him,
they meet.
Beckett says, "Just look to the ground. Don't talk to anybody," and that's where he runs into
because they're going. There's a party at his pleasure yacht, and Kira is there. So 3 years have passed since they were separated. It's been 3 years. So now she's apparently working for the Crimson Dawn Syndicate, and she is the number 2 under Dryden Voss. So Han is obviously overjoyed to see her again, but then Beckett basically Beckett has to grovel to Dryden Voss because they lost out on the fuel they were trying to steal for him. So now they have to figure out a way. They meet with Dryden Voss, and Dryden Voss is not happy.
Yeah, he's pissed.
he's very angry. Like right before you see him kill off a regional governor. Before he meets with Beckett.
With those really cool, like, red glowing blades. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, they're kind of like energy daggers or something.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
And Voss does give them a chance to kind of get some new coaxium. And Han is like, well, there is what does he call it? There's raw, unprocessed coaxium on the spice mines of Kessel.
Yeah, and that was really cool because actually Han kind of saves their lives because he's ready to kill all 3 of them, and then he goes, wait, we can do this. He goes, okay, you can do that, but take Kira with you.
Right. And so basically, here's the gist of they have to steal raw coaxium from Kessel. They have to take it off of Kessel, and then they have to get it to another sort of off-the-grid refinery to get it processed. Because if you don't process this coaxium in a fixed amount of time, it's very unstable and it will explode. And this is hyperdrive fuel, so it's very dangerous and volatile, basically. So there's that. So Kira obviously helps persuade Dryden, because I mean, obviously she does like Han deep down, and she doesn't want anything bad to happen to Han. Would you agree, Jay?
Yeah, I agree.
So and as you said, Dryden tells her, I want Kira to go with you to make sure it all gets done right. So now they need a ship to get them there and back from Kessel. And that's how Kira gets to introduce Han to Lando Calrissian. And this is how we meet Lando Calrissian, played by Donald Glover. Donald Glover, I think he totally nailed it as Lando.
He did.
Totally nailed. Would you agree?
I would agree. There's been rumor, and it's not confirmed. There's a rumor they want to do a Lando movie, and I would be totally for it if they do. It's not confirmed, though. It's not confirmed.
I think Kathleen Kennedy left it open that they could do one in the future.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be
seeing it for a while. That's what we have so far, but I would be totally for it. Donald Glover is a young man.
I think a lot of people would agree with you, but I think he totally had it down as Lando in this film.
He really did. Him and I think Woody Harrelson were the 2 best parts of this movie, in my opinion.
All right, so they meet Lando and he's playing sabacc or
Yeah.
card. He's playing cards and kind of this tavern kind of cantina kind of place. Han
Kind of
tries.
like Mos Eisley, but not.
Yeah, it does kind of remind you of the Mos
Yeah,
Eisley.
it's another area of scum and villainy, that's for sure.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
another one where like you go there, you're like, oh boy, this is not like, you know.
If you saw, they were forcing droids to fight in there too, and like
Yeah, I remember that. That reminded me of kind of BattleBots, actually.
Yeah, it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
Basically, a lot like that. So then Han is like, I can play this guy at sabacc, and I can win his ship from him.
And didn't we meet L3 around here somewhere?
No, not yet. Not quite yet. So they play the card game.
Mm-hmm.
Han's doing pretty well in this game at first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he gets Lando to bet the ship, but he loses the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Lando was clearly cheating at the game. And Han even says is like he played a card that there weren't any left. So Han was gonna win this game if not for Lando cheating at the game, basically. I enjoyed that scene a lot, and I like there were parts of that scene like it almost sounded like Donald Glover was like a young Billy D. Williams. You know, it's weird. I think he did better as a young Lando than Alden Ehrenreich as a young Han. What do you think?
Yeah, I have to agree because he was, like I said, him and Woody Harrelson was just one of those performances. This movie, like, dang, they just were fit to play those roles. They did an amazing job with them. You know, they kind of upped the movies just because how good they were.
Now let's take a break a little bit. What did you think of Alden Ehrenreich as Han?
I thought he was good, actually. I enjoyed him as Han because he had a lot of fun being Han. You know, I thought he was pretty.
But he's not Harrison Ford, you know.
No, of course not. But he did a good job with a young Han. I mean, I enjoyed it.
But I think Glover is better as a young Lando. Don't you agree? Measurably.
Yeah, but you know what? It's just because of the fact that I think there was a lot more like you could play around with Lando than you could with Han. I think that's just why. I think why. But I enjoyed him as Han. I liked him as Han. I had no problems with him.
Glover was better, personally.
But again, that's the thing. He had more to play with Lando than you would with.
I mean, how do you not have a lot to play around with as Han? It's Han Solo.
I'm not saying you don't, but Han doesn't have as many
as many what?
He's kind of like okay, he's smuggler, he's bad guy, he's always out for himself. At least at this time in his life.
Not really.
Well, not 100%. He cares about Kira, but that's about it. It's Kira and making money and getting a ship with her. That's all he really cares about.
I mean, what does Lando care about?
Lando just seems to care about becoming richer.
Lando just wants money and just being cool and capes. That's all he cares. He wants capes.
Yeah. I think maybe Donald Glover.
I'm not sure I agree with that point, Jay, but
maybe Donald Glover's was able to find.
I thought Alden Ehrenreich was okay. Like I think his performance was good. Like he acted, I think, decent. It's just he doesn't live up to what I think the Han Solo should be as a character. So that's just kind of my feeling. Now I'll say this: like the acting and performances in this movie were like they were there. They were good. Chemistry between the actors was there. The prequels did not have that.
No.
And I think that's what I think people who are bashing these films right now, like the prequels do not have good acting. Like it's very, go back and watch the prequels. The acting is very stilted and awkward.
And the prequels gave us Jar Jar, one of the most annoying Star Wars characters.
Right. And to me, there's nothing as bad as that in any of these movies I've seen so far. Wouldn't you agree?
There really isn't. And you know what? This one was a risk because it was the first film based on just one character. Basically. Right. They had never done this before.
That's correct.
So it's like when they did it. The only other example I can think of is when they did the first Wolverine film. It was either going to make or break future origin movies, right?
Well, the first Wolverine movie was terrible.
I'm not saying it wasn't, but it was still people still liked it enough where there were 2 more Wolverine movies after it.
It's to me it's not a valid comparison because it's.
I'm not saying it is. It's the only comparison.
It's a different franchise. It's a different franchise.
But it's the only comparison I can think of. It's like this. Was like the film where hey, if this does good, they'll do other ones like this. If it doesn't, this will be the only one we'll ever get. It's just the reality.
But this movie isn't doing isn't doing as well as the previous ones so far.
So far, but to be fair, it just came out yesterday.
Right. Well, we'll see.
There's still plenty of time.
We'll see how it does. It's of the new films, it's got the worst reviews right now.
So far, but still early.
Well, I mean,
and it technically has a 3-day weekend to go on.
I'm not talking about box office. I mean, it has the of the last 3 Star Wars movies, or the last 4 rather. It has the lowest tomato meter right now.
What's it at right now?
71%.
I think that could go up a bit more this weekend. It wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, that's it. That's at 283 reviews. So, like The Last Jedi, that's pretty much consensus, Jay. Last Jedi is 91 with
really
374.
Oh.
So if there's we'll see if they get another 90 or 100 reviews in and where it will stand. But it's not going to go up it's not going to go up significantly, honestly. It's going to probably stay around 70, 71.
So let's get back to the spoiler cast here.
All right. So Beckett is able to convince Lando to come with them on this heist.
For like 25% or 20% or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They haggle over the take, and Lando agrees to 25%. And this is where we meet L337. This is L337 is not Lando's droid. She is Lando's first mate on his ship, and she is also his navigator because she has like the most comprehensive navigational database in the galaxy in her files. And her whole quirk is that she wants equal rights for sentient droids. This character has been a major topic of controversy. I will say I loved L337. I thought she was delightful. And how are you gonna get, if you're like part of this whole like anti-force diversity thing, how are you upset about L337? She cares about droid rights, okay? Are sentient droid rights even a thing in real life, Jay? I mean, how can you get angry about that? Isn't that kind of ridiculous?
It is, I agree. Because I liked her too. I thought she was hilarious.
Yeah.
She provided a lot of good comic relief, and comedic moments, but some good action scenes too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So
why are people getting upset about this character?
She kind of reminded me of a bit more of a serious version of C-3PO in a manner of speaking. Just the fact that she was like the comic relief.
She wasn't serious.
He had some serious moments.
Who?
C-3PO.
No. L337 wasn't a very serious character.
But I mean, she had some serious moments, is what I mean.
A couple.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But why are people upset about this character?
I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me.
It's kind of like calling it's a little weird. It's like calling killing Vanessa sexist. It's dumb.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I think people need to just try and like enjoy movies more instead of trying to like micromanage.
I think some people just like too much of getting the 15 minutes of fame and making it sink over things.
I think people are so desperate that movies reinforce their personal beliefs, which I don't think
that's a possibility too.
I don't think it's a movie's responsibility to kind of validate your personal opinions, you know?
Yeah.
Would you, or am I being unfair there?
I just think my only real 2 cents about this is digging so deep into a comic relief character. I think is kind of
she's clearly,
I don't understand it.
She's clearly a comic relief character, and unlike Jar Jar Binks, I thought she was actually funny.
Yeah, and she actually had a cause. She wasn't just like there to just be like stupid and make stupid noises. She actually like had some depth to her character and some background and some like dimensions. It wasn't just a one-dimensional character, right?
Right.
There's much more to her than met the eye. When you first see her and at the end of seeing her, you get to know more about this character. And hey, it's not just this simple little droid, right?
So Lando is not keen on. Han is not keen on Lando at all after he first meets him, thinking he's like a hustler.
Yeah.
And Lando takes them to his ship, and this is our first. Well, this is the first time Han Solo and Chewbacca Get to see the Millennium Falcon up close. That was a
It
pretty
looked a little bit different because the front was complete. It didn't have that little chunk missing, which is kind of interesting.
Well, that was actually work that Lando did on it. It's a Corellian like YT-1300. He added that thing on the front, and he did some other work on it to kind of make it like just more of a pleasure craft, I think.
I thought that was kind of cool to see. I'm like, hey, it looked totally different from any other version we've seen it, you know. So
right. This is before Han Solo turned it into a piece of junk. Lando and L3 take the group to Kessel. While they're in hyperspace, Han has a bit of a scene with he has an intimate moment with Kira. Kira's Kira has been trying, I guess, to keep Han kind of like at arm's length because they're not really a couple anymore, and she has obligations to the Syndicate Crimson Dawn, but they do kiss, and then like Beckett breaks it up, and Beckett's like, you can't trust this girl. She works for Dryden. People are predictable. Blah blah blah. And Beckett's like, you and Chewie, we can have our own crew together and all that. And Han is sort of denying Beckett's claims.
Yeah, but it is an important thing that we'll get into later about the whole.
I think this is where Beckett also says, assume everyone is going to betray you and they'll never disappoint you. I think
was it before or after this where we saw one of them playing Chewbacca in that game?
Right before he tells him that he's playing Beckett is playing the hollow chess.
And I love that scene. That scene was so awesome.
That's going back to the first movie, A New Hope.
And it's so great because like we see him play, and then Chewie gets all mad because he's losing. And I think like he says, "Careful, he's going to rip your arms off" or something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And in A New Hope, Han Solo says it's not wise. It's not wise to upset a Wookiee because they'll rip your arms out of its socket.
And that's where C-3PO says, "Just let him win, R2.
Let the Wookiee win."
Yeah.
And then we saw the game we saw it again in The Force Awakens. Remember?
Yes, we did, which was awesome.
So now we get to see it a little bit again here. So that was funny.
Yeah, that was really cool. I like that scene a lot. And of course, where they made fun of all the capes Lando had, that was pretty funny.
Kira had a little scene with L3.
Yeah. L3
kind of joking that Lando, she's saying like Lando is completely in love with me.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, Kira's like, "How would that work?" And then L3's like, "It works." And that got quite a laugh out of.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. How does droid and human sex work, Jay? I don't know.
Oh, it's the future. It's future. There's somewhere.
It's not the future. It's a long time ago. This is not the future.
It's our future.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Why do
they say at the beginning of every movie, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away?
That just sounds cool. I thought it took place in the future.
Why?
Never mind. Moving on. Never mind. Moving on.
Jay, turn in your movie card right now.
No, moving on.
I'm revoking your movie privileges for a year.
We're moving on.
Sorry, it has to. But isn't that scene funny? Come on.
Yes, I agree.
Don't you? Look, they don't show droids and humans having sex, but I think referencing it in that way, I think that's kind of funny. Don't you agree?
It was a good, funny scene. I agree.
Like they don't elaborate on it. They're just like, yeah, it works.
Yeah.
That's it. And she's not even saying she's had sex with Lando, okay? I don't care what you've read about the movie. I think a lot of that is just to kind of get people worked up anyway. But whatever. Moving on from that, they get to Kessel. They pose as sort of slave traders to give the criminal overlords there and the spice mines. They give them Han and Chewbacca as slaves to sneak in, and then they take down the leader, and then they take over the control room. So Han and Chewbacca can go to the fuel vault to steal the fuel. Chewbacca meets there's some other Wookiees who are slaves there, and he goes to help them. And meanwhile,
and Han says, "Well, I hope I see you again, buddy."
Right. And then, but then in the control room, L3 like takes the restraining bolt off of a control droid, and then that droid starts liberating all the other droids, and then they all start going nuts and starting a revolt.
It starts a revolution.
Starts a droid revolution on Kessel, and then everything starts going to hell. So Han is collecting the fuel. They're trying to heavy. Right, and Chewbacca's helping the other Wookiees, and then as he's trying to load to push out the other fuel, the other Wookiees and Chewbacca come back to help Han, and then the soldiers guarding the place, they start attacking the Falcon, which is their means of escape. So all hell is breaking loose because of L337 decided, I'm going to start a revolt right now. That went pretty badly for all of them, and because like Beckett's like, don't improvise any of this, so then they have to shoot their way out. Chewbacca and the other Wookiees, they load the fuel up on the Falcon, and then the Wookiees want Chewbacca to leave with them, and Chewbacca decides to stay with Han and help Han. So that was kind of a major turning point for the relationship, because this is really the birth of the Han and Chewie friendship. So I did like how that was done in the film. How about you?
Yeah, I thought it was good. It was really cool to see. It's like he's like, right now I gotta keep it going, like, and yeah, it was cool to see.
It was hard to miss, but there was a human slave with the Wookiees that was played by Anthony Daniels. Did you know that?
I didn't catch that. No.
So there was a Wookiee and there was a human next to him, and Anthony Daniels played the human called Tak, T-A-K. So that was Anthony Daniels, in case anyone didn't know, is C-3PO. So nice. He had a cameo in this film as a human character. Isn't that a little amusing?
And also what's amusing is another cameo we forgot to mention is when L3 is talking to the two battle droids, that was Ron Howard's brother.
Clint Howard, yeah.
Yeah, Clint Howard. It's kind of cool to see him.
Yeah, Clint Howard.
He's usually always in Ron Howard's films, but it's so kind of cool to see him.
Yeah, he cameos in every one of Ron. Yeah, you got to help out family and all that. You got to throw Clint Howard about.
As this scene continues and they get the stuff away, L3 sadly dies, which I actually thought was a bummer.
Right.
L3, I didn't want to die.
Well, it was her fault. It was her fault, though.
I'm not saying it wasn't, but that was the character thing. I was like, damn it. I didn't want to see L3 die because L3 was such a cool, fun character, you know.
But Lando does grab her body and takes her body back aboard the Falcon, which is important. So Lando also got shot during that battle. So they're trying to run away on the Falcon, but then the Imperials come in with the Star Destroyer and they start attacking the Falcon. So because Lando is injured, Han takes the controls, and he's like, well, we can't fly. So basically, Kessel is surrounded by this giant maelstrom that is very dangerous. So you have to be very careful, like just going through this very specific channel, or else you'll get crushed, basically. So Han, in order to evade the Imperials, they're like, you know what? Let's just fly through the maelstrom. Takes the Falcon, goes through this kind of giant space maelstrom. There's lots of debris and asteroids and rocks floating around. So they have to deal with the TIE fighters. They get into a dogfight with some TIE fighters. This was the best scene in the entire movie, I thought.
Well, yeah, it was. It was a very good firefight and scene. But then there was also the scene afterwards. They run into some giant creature, right?
Well, this whole sequence, the Castle Run sequence, it's the scene. If I were to tell you, if there's one scene in the movie that's worth the price of admission, it is this scene.
Yeah, I agree. I can agree.
From when they go into the maelstrom, all of the fights with the TIE fighters and the giant creature, it is the best. Like, this is the star sequence of the whole film. I love this scene so much because you have Chewie. Chewie becomes Han's co-pilot because Han's like, he has all these specific instructions, and Chewie's like, when did you? He tells Chewie, when did you learn how to fly? He's like, I'm 190. 190, you look great.
Yeah.
That was
and was
great.
this also where they took L3's brain and put L3
Right.
a part of the computer?
Right. So they took apart L3's brain and they connected it into the navigational computer of the Falcon to help guide them out of the maelstrom.
Mm-hmm.
This is a reference to something in The Empire Strikes Back, I believe. Basically, kind of the idea that like the Falcon has like a droid brain, basically, something like that.
Something like that.
So then they connect L3 to the Falcon to kind of help them get out, and then they're chased by this giant like tentacle creature. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
This thing was like that thing looked gnarly, Jay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was like have you ever heard of H.P. Lovecraft and Cthulhu?
Yes.
It was like one of those kind of monsters. It was
yeah. I agree.
It was like a giant like there's nothing. It tries to gobble up the Falcon. They launch that escape pod at the front,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes after it into this like black hole.
Mm-hmm.
They called it a gravity well.
Yeah, and it was a very harrowing moment too. So at the time you're like, "Oh my God, are they going to actually? Are they actually get through this?" Because it was such a harrowing moment too. They're like, "Are we all going to die?"
It was a tense, suspenseful scene.
Yeah, because they lose power at one point. You're like, "Oh crap! Now what do we do?"
Right, and then they're getting pulled into this black hole gravity well, whatever it's called.
I think it was a gravity well.
They call what's the difference? I'm not a scientist.
I'm just saying. I think that's what they called it.
They called it a gravity well, but it looked kind of like a black hole. Well, it wasn't a black hole, but whatever. Has anyone seen a black hole up close? I don't think so. And the creature gets sucked into it, and then they're getting sucked in too. So then Beckett drops some of that coaxium fuel in there, and it cuts down their power for a second, but then it just blasts them out. And then Han is able to try a trick where he puts the ship sideways, like their car at the beginning of the movie.
But it gets stuck at the beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning they get stuck. This time they're actually able to work, and they're able to jump to light speed, and they get to the other planet with the refinery.
Just in time. Just
in time, because remember, they have a time limit before this stuff starts blowing up. Before the fuel starts blowing up, and they get the fuel process. So that was man, what a great scene that whole scene was. Love that scene.
Yeah.
You had Han taking control of the Falcon. You had Chewbacca taking control of the Falcon. So you had all that going on, and all the elements. Just this scene to me, Jay, was when the movie was like firing on all cylinders. Would you agree? Or
I could agree with that. Sure, absolutely.
Okay. So then they go to they're on like another, I forget what this planet was called. It was called like Savarine or something.
Something like that.
And while they're getting the full fuel processed, Enfys Nest is there. Enfys Nest is unmasked, and we find out she's a young girl or a young woman, I guess.
Yes.
And they're not marauders so much as they're like freedom fighters trying to fight against the Syndicate, and they don't want that fuel falling into the hands of the Syndicate to kind of attack them and innocent people, basically. And this is where we start seeing kind of Han coming through as sort of like a nice guy, because Han's like, we can't give this fuel to the Syndicate because they'll do bad things with it. And even earlier, Kira's like, I know you say you're an outlaw, but what you really are is you're the good guy. And Han's like, no, I'm not the good guy. So that was a neat little scene, don't you think?
And there was a really cool cameo here too in this scene where we see Warwick Davis again. So that was wonderful.
He was in. It wasn't really a cameo. He was throughout the movie.
But we saw his face here.
He was in the. We saw his face, yeah. But he was also in the middle of the movie when they find Lando. He was in there.
Yeah, I agree. But it was just cool to see his face because
we saw him after this too.
Yeah, but I love seeing it. He's such a great actor to see, and he was, a Ewok, and of course, Return of the Jedi. So
he's been in every film. I think he's in Last Jedi too. Pretty sure.
I know he was in Last Jedi, but I'm not sure if he's been in every film. I don't know.
He was in He was not in every film. He was in Return of the Jedi as Wicket. He was in Phantom. He was in Phantom Menace for sure.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Was he in Force Awakens?
I want to say yes. I'm not sure as what.
Pretty sure he was.
Yeah.
He was in The Force Awakens.
Yeah. I don't remember
He
his
was an
what.
alien. He was an alien in Maz Kanata.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, that makes sense.
he was in the. I believe he was in The Last Jedi, and he was also in Rogue One.
Yeah.
So he's been in almost all the new movies, basically.
Yeah, but it was just really I like him, so it was cool seeing him have a nice little.
Right. He was one of the Marauder. He was one of the Cloud Riders in Enfys Nest's gang. So basically, Enfys Nest and her comrades, they're not really bad people. They're just trying to stand up. They're basically freedom fighters trying to stand up to the crime syndicates.
They almost reminded me of. They almost seemed like they were like the beginnings of the Rebel Alliance, almost.
A little bit. I think they were trying to imply that.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Because she did say that the syndicates were in league with the Empire. She did mention that.
Yeah.
And then what else? So then Han is like, we can't give the fuel to the to Dryden Voss, so we'll come up with a plan. We'll come up with a plan to stop Dryden Voss, and then what we will do is, and then we'll help these people, and then we'll get money, and then we'll go on our own way. Beckett's like, sorry, kid. And he tells him, come find me on Tatooine. A gangster is coming up with a big job. Obviously referencing Jabba the Hutt.
Yes.
I would assume. So Han and Kira and Chewbacca, they go back to Dryden Voss and they try to pull another heist, but this time on Dryden Voss. And they deliver the fuel. They deliver the refined fuel to him. But Dryden's like, I know you're trying to trick me because an associate of mine told me you were trying to fake me out. And he reveals his associate to be Tobias Beckett, who has betrayed Han and the others. Like he said earlier, Jay, assume everyone is going to betray you.
Absolutely.
So then Dryden Voss sends his scouts after Enfys Nest at the refinery to take what he believes is the actual coaxium. But Han Solo was smart enough to realize that Beckett might try this. So he turns the tables on both of them, and Enfys Nest attacks Dryden Voss's troopers. And he actually brought the real coaxium to Dryden Voss there. So then Beckett turns on Dryden Voss, takes the coaxium, and forces Chewbacca to take it for him. So then Kira and Han Solo are fighting Dryden Voss, and basically Kira turns on Dryden Voss to save Han and kills Dryden Voss. So were you surprised at all by Kira's actions?
Not superbly, because she kept saying like she's done terrible things, she's done things that she can't, take back, and she doesn't want to tell Han about them. So seeing her do that, it's like it didn't surprise me too much. I'm like, one, she did truly kind of care about Han, and two,
I think they were sort of hinting at that she might betray Han, though.
Well, maybe, but it didn't surprise me that, it was still kind of surprising that he died by her hand. But at the same time, it's like she kept saying, I've done terrible, horrible things. I'm not the person I was. So, almost like she had kind of done a 180 in a different direction.
I think she was trying to keep Han away from her because she did not get away from Corellia, so she probably had to do terrible things in order to survive.
Maybe.
And she probably feels she doesn't belong with Han anymore because she believes Han's a good guy.
Yeah, maybe. That's a possibility.
She believes she is not. And she says, she tells Han, I'm gonna get some money and we're gonna go away together. So, but I need you to leave to help Chewbacca and save him from Beckett. And then Han Solo gets to Beckett before he can escape. And what does he do?
He shoots Beckett.
But how does he do it? In what order?
What's
the saying?
Oh yeah, he
Han
says
shoots.
like yeah.
Han shoots.
First.
Yes. Who shot first?
Yeah. And I love it where he says, you know, yeah, he saw it coming. Then Beckett kind of was almost like proud. He's like, "Good job, kid. You did something right for once."
Yeah, pretty
Because that
much.
was going to kill you. Yeah.
But Han did seem quite troubled with the fact he did have to kill him, though.
Oh yeah, of course, because it was kind of his mentor. He was like, "I don't really want to kill you, but I kind of have no choice."
And then instead of going with them, Kira takes the ship,
Mm-hmm.
and Han sees her leave. So,
Yeah.
kind of a sad moment.
And this next scene actually really
Yeah,
surprised.
but a sad moment in realization for Han as Kira has gone away from him.
Yeah, where Beckett was kind of right. He was like, "Damn it, Beckett was right."
Well,
Kinda.
well, he wasn't completely right because she didn't betray him and she did save him, but
Yeah.
but she did ultimately stay with the syndicate. So then
Yeah.
Dryden Voss was not the head honcho. He had a boss.
Yeah.
And then Kira goes to contact Dryden Voss's boss, who we find out is
Yeah, which was Darth Maul, which I thought was actually pretty amazing. I didn't
Ray
expect
Park.
that coming.
Ray Park returned to play Darth Maul. The voice, though, was Sam Witwer,
Okay.
who voiced Darth Maul on the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels.
Yes, I thought that I didn't see coming. I was actually kind of surprised, but I think
It was a big surprise.
if I'm right in the timeline, though, did he have robotic legs? Had
Yes.
So he had been reattached at this point.
This was after he got the robotic legs on Clone Wars. This was after Clone Wars.
Yeah, I thought they looked kind of. Yeah, when I saw like the massacre move, I was like, okay, I didn't see that coming, but that was really cool to see.
I think a lot of people were surprised about Darth Maul.
And not just that, but they actually kept it under wraps. That's not always easy to do.
Also,
nowadays.
Kira lied to him. Did you notice Kira lied to him? And Kira contacted him.
Yeah, she said that they were dead, right?
Oh, well, she said she wasn't there when Dryden Voss was killed.
Oh yeah, that's right. She did do that. Yeah.
So she lied about that whole story to protect Han. Keep that in mind. So I don't know if this is a setup to future movies with Darth Maul. I don't know what the plan is, but it seems like it, don't you think?
It wouldn't surprise me if they did that because remember we've seen on Clone Wars and Rebels, we've seen a bit about Maul's story, but there's a lot more to it. So who knows?
Well, when we see him again on Rebels, he was stranded on Malachor for a while. That's where
But he was still a dangerous powerhouse. He was still someone,
but we didn't know what he was doing before that. So now he is the crime lord of the Crimson Sun, basically.
Yeah.
So we got a cameo with Darth Maul. So Kira is basically the gist of it is Kira works for Darth Maul now.
Yeah, basically.
He's basically the Dryden Voss to Darth Maul, what Dryden Voss was before.
And of course, and then I love it. They find Lando again.
Right. They go to they
leave. 20%. He's like, "You're lucky you're not dead."
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Did you notice when he meets Lando again? Because Lando left them.
Yeah.
Like after Enfys Nest show up, Lando just flies away with the Falcon and just leaves them
there.
Yeah. Did you notice when Han meets him again, he did the thing, he did that kind of like, I'm going to punch you and then hugged him. It was just like The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I want to say I do remember that. Then I remember too, it was funny where, because I think he saw either last time or this time the thing on his wrist, right?
Right. That was how he cheated the first time. He grabbed the cheat card he had in his sleeve.
Yeah.
So then they played another game of Sabacc.
Yeah.
And he gets Lando to bet the Falcon again, but Falcon doesn't have his trump card anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So here's the deal. There's been a lot of speculation about this game, and I think there was talk that both of them were cheating, but they weren't. They weren't cheating. Lando tried to cheat, but he kept Lando from cheating, basically.
Yeah. He cheated the first time, but he wasn't allowed to this time because Han kind of, cheated instead in a manner.
No, Han didn't cheat. He held up the card he was using to cheat after he played. So he won the game fair and square, and then he's like, "This is the card you were trying to."
Didn't he win the game because of the same card, though?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't, because he laid the cards down, and he's like, "Oh, you were trying to play this one," and then he pulled it up. So he didn't win with that one. So Han did technically win fair and square. So then they win the Falcon.
Maybe Lando just thought he cheated because he was
So
mad he lost the Falcon.
Han didn't cheat. Lando cheated.
I'm not saying Han did. I'm just saying Lando might have been pissed and said he
right.
cheated.
Well, Lando was
the
trying to cheat, but Han was too smart this time and realized what he was trying to do and kept him from trying to cheat this time, basically. So technically, it was a fair game. So then the movie ends with Han and Chewie. They have their ship now. They have their ship now. Now they have the Millennium Falcon. They're the pilot and co-pilot of the Millennium Falcon now, and they decide. I guess they're going to go off to Tatooine to find Jabba the Hutt or something. So, how did you like the note the movie ended on?
I liked the note it ended on. I thought it was a good end, and it kind of like where things would go next. So I think we give this one maybe a 6.5 or a 7, probably a 7. I didn't hate this movie. It wasn't a bad standalone film. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been better.
What didn't work about Solo for you, Jay?
Huh?
What didn't work here?
Well, definitely that Kessel part was amazing.
Right.
The part where Han Solo throws Dryden's plans and
what doesn't work?
What doesn't work?
Why only a 6 or 7 out of 10 and not higher?
Because there are some moments that just kind of dragged on and weren't perfect to me.
Such as?
When they first go on the planet, it was kind of slow. It's like, oh, it's all these people who supposedly don't have tongues. Okay, but that was kind of a slow moment. There were some moments. It just, I don't know. Like for me, it didn't blow me away like Rogue One. Rogue One was better than this.
All right, I'll tell you my issues with the movie. Okay. The first half of the movie is very rough. It's very disjointed. Characters get introduced and then they get tossed aside. And to me, that's like you introduce characters who seem interesting and then you get rid of them too quickly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy about the Emphas Nest character because I thought she was going to be like the main villain of the movie, and she wasn't. I didn't think Dryden Voss was a very good villain.
Okay.
What did you think of Dryden Voss as a villain?
Maybe those might have been my issues. I couldn't put my finger on because he wasn't a superbly strong villain as far as Star Wars villains go.
Right.
Honestly,
Krennic is even a better villain than that.
Yeah, so maybe and you may be right. Some of the characters weren't given as much as they should have been. They killed them off too quickly. Or even in Rogue One, they didn't get killed quickly. They had the time to grow and develop.
And I thought Alden Ehrenreich was okay, but he definitely doesn't his performance just doesn't blow me away in this film.
Well, he's definitely he's really the one. The standout two people are Woody Harrelson and Donald Glover. Those are the two.
But they're not the stars of the film.
Yeah, they're not. Those are the two that stand out the most. Are the most memorable. So that might be what hurts this film is just the fact that the person
the supporting characters overshadow the lead.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to see a direct sequel to this film with Darth Maul and Kira back and the crime syndicates and everything? Or would you rather that be a separate story without Han Solo?
I think that'd have to be a separate story at this point without him. I think it'd have to be. Because where she's going next, Han's not going to follow. That's just the truth. He couldn't.
You think Han would not go after her again?
Well, it sounds like if he's going to Tatooine, after he goes to Tatooine, then eventually, the whole thing with Luke and Leia is going to happen, right? And old Ben, right? If he goes to Tatooine,
no, because it won't have. My understanding is this is 10 years before that.
Okay.
So,
if he goes to Tatooine now to work for Jabba,
right?
It just seems like.
Yeah, but he's not going to find Luke Skywalker yet. Not for a number of years. It won't be for a number of years.
Okay, I'm just.
He'll work for Jabba, but he won't find Luke Skywalker.
I just think that it'd have to be a standalone movie with just Darth Maul and Kira is what would have to happen.
Or what if they're in the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie?
That might make sense. That would make more sense.
Even though Obi-Wan Kenobi kills Darth Maul in Rebels. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but he was an older Obi-Wan when he did that.
Right. So this is about 8 years before that, I would say. About 8.
So it wouldn't surprise me for him, if it were in the Obi-Wan Kenobi, for him to run into Darth Maul again, maybe thought that he had taken him out when he didn't. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, but it can't be on Tatooine because
it wouldn't be, no.
Because Darth Maul didn't know before he found Obi-Wan, he didn't know he was on Tatooine.
Yeah, true.
So if you want to maintain the canon or the lore, you have to work around all these issues.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's kind of tough. It's tough to think about because, Jay, there are some people who are totally confused by Darth Maul in this movie. You know that? Because none of them. Some people don't even know that Darth Maul is still alive. Did you know that?
That's just kind of well. I guess I understand.
Some people have never watched Clone Wars or read the comics or Rebels. Some people have no idea about any of that.
Yeah, so if they hadn't watched any of that, I can understand them being at that place.
So, I think some people don't even understand that. Okay, Darth Maul survived getting cut in half. He got robotic legs, and that he's been alive all this time.
And he had a brother too, right?
Right, but his brother's out of the picture. His brother's dead.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, they could do a standalone movie just about the crime syndicates, really, don't you think?
It'd be interesting to see it. It'd be interesting to see it, but
now there was also I think we can talk about this a little bit. The Hollywood Reporter said James Mangold, the director of Logan, might be doing Boba Fett.
I think that actually did get confirmed. I think, and
it's not confirmed, but it was reported.
Really? Okay.
No, like Lucasfilm hasn't announced anything.
Okay.
But it's the same thing with Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was reported but not confirmed.
Okay, but yeah, doing a Boba Fett, it'd be interesting to see because that would go into the world of assassins and all that stuff, right?
Assassins, hitmen, and bounty hunters. I would like to see that because I think. Here's what I think. You could do that, and you could put Darth Maul and Kira in it again, don't you think?
Maybe.
Why not?
Maybe. We'll see. I know that
maybe.
It sounds like right now, just by what's being reported, we'll probably get that before we'll get Obi-Wan.
Why do you think that?
Because it seems like that one they're at least getting ready to push forward, from what I'm hearing being reported anyway. But they want to push the Boba Fett one.
It hasn't been confirmed. It hasn't been confirmed.
And I'm not saying it has. I'm just saying.
So look, here's what the Hollywood Reporter says. The Lucasfilm is developing movies on a slew of characters, including Obi-Wan Kenobi, which has Stephen Daldry in negotiations to direct, although no writers are working on a script. James Mangold is writing and will direct a Star Wars standalone movie centered on Boba Fett. So there's not a lot of other details right now.
But I think that one's going to be pushed forward before Obi-Wan, even though Ed McGregor is totally up for doing Obi-Wan, because they've got a bit more set up.
You remember Josh Trank was supposed to do a movie?
What movie was that supposed to be?
For Star Wars. It was reported it was going to be the Boba Fett movie.
Okay.
So this apparently, I guess, is continuing that, but now it will be James Mangold. Do you like that? If it is him?
Yeah, I just will need to know more about the movie before I can really get excited about it. This is what's going to have to happen with Boba Fett.
Right. Hollywood Reporter updated it today to say, not today, yesterday actually, updated to reflect that sources are saying Simon Kinberg will co-write and produce the Boba Fett film. Do you think this is a good idea, or do you think they should avoid it?
I think personally they should do Obi-Wan first, just because that one I think has more promise to be a stronger film than Boba Fett. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
And then if Obi-Wan does well, then do Boba Fett. That's what I think they should do personally.
Well, they could still do Obi-Wan Kenobi first. We don't know.
I just think that'd be a safer bet because Obi-Wan is such a more beloved and well-known character. Boba Fett, we've really, at least on the big screen, only seen Boba Fett.
We know that's happening next. We know
because we saw Boba Fett as a kid in Attack of the Clones, and then we saw him
Yeah.
and a little bit in episode 5, and then
Right.
more in episode 6, and
Empire Strikes Back.
that's all we've seen on the big screen. That's it.
Right. Well, here's the other thing. We know episode 9 comes out in 2019.
Yeah.
Beyond that, Ryan Johnson is supposed to write and direct a new trilogy.
Yeah.
And the Game of Thrones creators, Benioff and Weiss, are supposed to do their own series of films.
And then Jon Favreau is doing the live action on the streaming service, right?
The TV series. That's a TV series. And
Yeah.
then Dave Filoni is directing the new animated series.
Yeah, Resistance.
But those are series. Beyond that, we don't know what else is going on. We don't know about Obi-Wan or Boba Fett from Lucasfilm yet, but hopefully we'll know soon.
Yeah.
Do you think this movie is going to be a success?
I don't know. It's hard to see here. The only problem with this film is its budget is like $250 million. That's a big budget, and that may be hard to make up. We'll see. I mean, there's time. They have technically the whole summer to do it, but we'll just see. I think time will tell. I'd like it to be a success, but we'll see.
It might. Wow. I was reading 200 million. Let me see. Well, I think Variety did say 250 million. So yeah, that's pretty insane.
Because they've only made, now to be fair, it's only been out technically Thursday so far. It's only made 25
not even the whole day.
So far.
It's not even the whole day. This is really the first day of release.
Yeah, I think that what's going to happen with this movie is it will make more money this 3-day weekend. I think that's a possibility.
Right.
And
this movie had a higher budget than The Last Jedi. Do you believe that?
It's actually pretty unbelievable.
Does that surprise you at all?
A little bit, actually, yes, it does.
I think one reason for that is probably the reshoots with Ron Howard.
Yeah, it's a possibility. And I think just this movie, I think it has a possibility to do well, but we'll see. Time's going to tell with this one.
Wow.
But it doesn't really have any competition until Incredibles 3 and Incredibles 2, I think.
You think this is a better movie than The Last Jedi?
I don't know. That's tough.
I would say no. As embattled as The Last Jedi is, I think I like that movie better.
I don't think I can say that because there was less I didn't like about this one than that one. That one there was whole segments they should just cut out.
I agree.
This like wasn't 2.5 hours long. This was about 2 hours 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
And this didn't have moments where it dragged on for me. There were moments in that.
But here's my one thing. Like the best scene in the whole movie is the Kessel Run, right?
True.
You would agree.
Yes.
The action scene that happens after is nowhere near as good.
I agree.
It's kind of, in fact, the movie kind of ends in an anticlimactic fashion. So
I beg to differ about the ending. Just my problem, because I have to say I think this is a little bit better than Last Jedi, just because it has its faults, but Last Jedi had more faults for me.
Okay.
Yeah. But not by a huge margin.
All right. I think that's.
I at least watched this, and by the end, I was like, "Hey, they did a good job."
I think that's pretty fair, Jay. Even though you said Star Wars takes place in humanity's future, so
whatever.
I'm not gonna let you live that down, just so you know. So I hope you're ready. All right. So that was our double spoiler cast, our first ever double spoiler cast of Deadpool 2. And Solo, thank you for joining us, everyone, for this this special edition. We're going to be back early next week. So I hope everyone has a happy and safe Memorial Day. I hope everyone has some good barbecues. Salute to our fighting men and women out there. Thank you for all that you do. And thank you for putting your lives on the line to protect us and keep us safe. So thank you to all the fighting men and women and all of our country's veterans. I salute you. And happy Memorial Day, everyone. Jay, any plans for you for Memorial Day weekend?
Just relax, nothing too exciting. Go out, be social a little bit. That's about it. Nothing too exciting.
Right. So everyone, I hope you have a safe and happy holiday weekend. Go see Solo. Go see Deadpool 2. If it's playing, I recommend Mary Shelley, a good little indie film, which we've talked about here before. And we'll be back with all the entertainment news and more stuff to discuss. We'll try to do a special Memorial Day podcast on Monday is basically the plan right now. So if you have some spare time on Monday and you want to check us out again, check us out on our YouTube channel, Hollywood Purgatory. Jay, you want to tell us where other people can find us online as well?
Yeah, also we are on Facebook. We have a page there. All of our episodes are posted on there.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, we are on. I do post these on my Tumblr account too, which I think is Movie Seeker 23, I think. And yeah, so you can find them on there. And yeah, just be sure to like us and follow us on there, and to tell your friends and family about us, so we can just get more people out there.
Also, you can check me out, my reviews of Solo and Deadpool 2, if you want to check those out. They are on 411 Mania. I have some more stuff coming out soon for Cloak and Dagger, Marvel's Cloak and Dagger. Also E3. I will be at E3 next month in LA. Jay, are you going to be at E3?
Yep, I'll be at E3 as well, and Cloak and Dagger I should be writing a bit about soon as well.
Right.
Also, news came out that Spider-Man Season 2 will be coming out soon, so we
Right.
should hopefully start writing about that more again.
And where can people find you online, Jay?
Good Men Project Arts and Entertainment
All right.
section is where all my reviews are on, right over there.
We should probably have some discussion about E3 when that comes around.
Absolutely, we will.
I
hope beyond hope that they have a demo for Kingdom Hearts 3, but we'll see.
I've already heard from Nintendo that there will be a demo for the new Smash Brothers game, so
That makes sense.
So I'm hopefully going to get to play the new Super Smash Bros. So
we get some more news about the new Yoshi game and maybe even the new Metroid. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to that. So everyone have a great holiday weekend, and thank you. Later, everybody.